day. I take my old dog first, my puppies a little bit later, and I thought I would hop online and answer any questions. Maybe check the online question forum here for some life insurance questions and see if I can help out. It is very hot here, by the way. It's already like 80 degrees, I think, and we've been having this chance of rain for the past several days, but unfortunately, none of that has actually turned into actual rain. So, still feels like a very moist oven outside, if anyone can relate to that. So, I am here online. It is roughly 8:20 a.m. Eastern, and I'm just going through and checking some questions that popped up. Anybody have Globe Life Insurance? Yeah, there's several people that do have Globe Life Insurance, and they do pay out. They are a company, but one thing that I don't like about them is one of their policies is a renewable term as opposed to a whole life policy. It looks like a whole life policy for the amount of coverage and the cost, but it's a term, and not only a term, but it renews every year and then every 5 years, and the price keeps going up and up and up and up and up. Now, I'm not sure if they have whole life products. They say they do, but whenever I go to the website, I cannot find it. And that could just be me, but I've tried several times to find their whole life products, and I'm always redirected to the renewable term product, which looks like a fantastic deal, by the way. Like if you shop around for whole life insurance and you get maybe 5 or 6 quotes, you see that the price for their renewable term is drastically less expensive than a whole life policy. But people who are looking for that amount of coverage are looking for a whole life coverage, right? So it's a little misleading. It's in the fine print where it's going to renew after the first year and then every 5 years. So I would really read the fine print if that's something you're interested in. I've talked to tons of people who got this product, and after 5, 6 years, it was just too unaffordable. Even though initially it looked like a good price. Another thing about that is it does cancel once you turn 80, and then typically once you're 80, it's very hard to get insured, especially for a larger amount of coverage. So, what other questions do we have here? Good life insurance companies, please let me know. Well, it depends on what you're looking for. No love, Brittany. If you're looking for term, my recommendation is Banner Term all day. If you're looking for whole life, my recommendation, if you don't have any serious health conditions outside of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and controlled diabetes, would be to go with Mutual of Omaha. If you do have serious health conditions where you can't get qualified for day one coverage, I would recommend going with a company like AIG or Corebridge. Colonial Penn does do guaranteed issue. That's the product that they sell. Even though it's not really in the advertisement, the first 2 years is a limited benefit, death benefit, meaning that if you die of natural causes in the first 2 years, your family only gets back the money you paid in plus 7 to 10%. Now, if you've got Colonial Penn and you die of an accident in the first 2 years, I believe they do pay the full death benefit to your family. But that's something to look out for, and that's also another reason why you need to either work with someone you can trust or read the fine print. Anyone help me with global life insurance? Okay. Yeah, no. What's the best kind of life insurance policy? It depends on your needs, right? If you're young, you've got a mortgage, you've got kids, you've got a spouse, it depends on your income. Obviously, that's going to be a term life insurance policy. If you're a senior citizen and you're looking to cover the cost of a burial or cremation, then that would be a whole life policy. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going through here and seeing if I could find anything. You know how to find out what life insurance policy is worth and turn it in for money. I need it ASAP. Okay, well, Diana, I'm assuming if you're turning it in for money that you have a whole life policy or maybe even an IUL possibly. The best thing to do to find out how much it's worth would be to first call your life insurance company and find out what the cash value is currently. Now, once you have that, you can call one of those brokers and see what they will offer you for it. A lot of times, I'm not sure of their mathematics on that, but I'm guessing that they're only going to give you maybe like 70% of whatever the death benefit is, especially if they're required to make payments on it. So I'm not sure how those things work, but I would imagine there is a healthy margin between what they're buying from you and what they're going to pay to you. So I'm sorry you're in that situation where you're looking to sell your life insurance policy, but I would call the life insurance company first to find the cash value, and then if you were interested in those data, or those, not data brokers, but if you're interested in those people who buy those policies, I would contact them and see what percentage of that money they're willing to give you. And a lot of times you can borrow against the cash value if that's something you were interested in. It depends on how long you had the policy, your monthly payments, and several factors on how much cash value you are going to have. But I think a lot of these companies will let you borrow against your cash value. All right. Let's see. Any of my friends know a good company to get life insurance. Depends on what you're looking for. Banner and Mutual of Omaha, you really can't go wrong with those two. All right, here's someone offering a quote. Let's see. All right, so they are selling whole life insurance to people between the ages of 18 and 25. I am adamantly opposed to that. That is... So they're selling $75,000 worth of coverage for $19.73 a month. I think that is, I would, if you're 18 to 25, you could probably spend the same amount of money and get $250,000, $300,000 worth of term coverage for 30 years, if not more. I'm just really, I mean, here's the thing, like if you got a whole life policy when you're 18 or 20 or 30 and you're 70 years old now, I can't say that, it's not a good thing you have it, but I'm just saying that there were better paths to take to have that level of money. But I am happy that you do have that thing. So let's see, sent 100 DMs about life insurance, 0 people interested. Yeah, Timmy said he sent 100 DMs today about life insurance, no. The ramifications of not having a life insurance policy. Most people really start to think about life insurance. They don't until then. I guess it's a self-defense mechanism where you don't want to think about your own mortality. And it could also be pattern recognition. For example, everybody's been alive every day of their life, more than likely. So if you were alive yesterday, you're alive today. Thinking about your death is not something that people do. But I would encourage people, if you do have kids especially, you need to sit down with your husband, your wife, your partner, whoever, and actually talk about the fact, what happens if one of us passes away? You need to do this. Like, this is not for me, this is for you guys. You need to do that. And then if it's not a good outcome as far as the financials, then you need to get a life insurance policy. Every parent in the United States would have a life insurance policy if they sat down with their partner and talked about what happens if they pass away, right? From a financial aspect, from a financial standpoint, every single parent would have it, right? They're like, okay, well, if I pass away, then the mortgage is still here, the cars are still here, the insurance is still here, the TV or the TV, oh Jesus, the Netflix, the Amazon Prime, all of those bills are still going to be there. And if all of a sudden you go from having 2 people supporting the family structure to 1 person, that is a lot of weight to put on a set of shoulders. So that's why I recommend everybody at least have a 5-minute conversation with your partner to discuss what happens if one of you dies from a financial standpoint. The emotional standpoint is hard to quantify. It could be devastating from that aspect, but you definitely need to what's going to happen financially, right? I think that's just a responsible thing to do, especially if you have kids. It's an absolute must. So let's see. I'm going through some of the questions here. Let's see. Hi there, a bunch of clients from Florida. Okay, this is just a life insurance agent advertising in the group. Anyone know of a life insurance broker who can do a life insurance policy? There are thousands of them, tens of thousands of life insurance agents. They're everywhere, guys. Life insurance agents are, in fact, everywhere. You do not have to go very far to find one. You can post something on Facebook about life insurance and you will have 20 of them pop in almost instantly. So that is actually a thing. And they all look alike. I mean, they don't all look alike, but Yeah, it's the same person, just in different packaging, right? It's the same person, just a different height, weight, color, gender, but they all typically say the same things, do the same things. So standing out is fairly easy in that industry, or in this industry. This is the industry I'm in. Let's see, looking for somebody who sells life insurance. Okay, found them. And it's crazy that you have to insure your car and homes, but choose not to insure your lives. Like, see, this is so you do stuff like this. Like I said, it's the same agent over and over and over again. There are thousands of agents, and they all sound the same. Yeah, it doesn't matter how much you say this to people. Like you could say the same thing to a person 1,000 times. It's not going to have any impact, right? People, in order to get life insurance, people have to feel the impact of their loss from a financial standpoint, like how that impacts their family. Until somebody sits down and actually thinks about what happens if they die from a financial standpoint, I mean, it's just saying empty words here, you know? And I think agents should, I don't know, they can ask questions to see, like, get them to think about that possibly, not to sell them anything, but just so they can at least know if they want it, right? Like what happens if you die tomorrow from, what happens to the bills if you die tomorrow, right? Can your wife cover the cost of the mortgage, raising the kids, the electric, the shopping, the after school activities? After that $50,000 work policy is gone, what does that look like? Now, if that's a negative outcome, like if you deem that to be a negative situation, then yes, you need to get life insurance. That's where people actually get it. And I wish more people did that, not for my benefit, but for the benefit of kids especially. Like a lot of parents out there just don't have life insurance. And there's about 6,000 parents that pass away every single week with kids under the age of 18. So that means like 6,000 parents every week are not going to make it to those graduations, not going to make it to the wedding, not going to be able to see that first grandkid get born. And that's like average 6,000 a week. And half of those people, half, don't have life insurance. So not only do the kids lose a parent, now they've got a parent that is going to be responsible for all of the jobs that the other parent did, as well as their own. So that is, in my opinion, not a good situation. All right, let's see what other questions do we have here. All right, somebody just contacted Mutual of Omaha for a $25,000 life insurance quote. $158 a month. Now, that depends on your age, right? I'm guessing if it's $158 a month, you are a female. I think starting at 65, it's around 74. So you got to be, more than likely, you're at the 5-year range. So that is not a whole life policy. The more expensive it gets. I think the average age in the United States, the mortality age is around 72 for males and 77 for females, give or take, or it could be 74, 77. But yeah, the older you get, the closer you get to that threshold, the more expensive it's going to get. Does anyone have State Farm insurance? I do not. My mom has had life insurance with them for almost 30 years now, and they have sent her letters saying that she will need to pay almost $300 a month, or they will cancel her policy. Okay, so this is, it sounds like what happened with the State Farm here, if I'm not mistaken, is that whenever she signed up for the policy, it was a 30-year term policy, right? So it was a level term for 30 years, and then there was at the end of the 30 years, instead of canceling, what they did was they just increased it, renewed it at her current age, which is going to be drastically more expensive, right? So the life insurance agent that got that for her should have explained that to her, or at least explained it to her in the follow-ups. Usually you want to follow up with clients every 6 months at least, not to talk their ear off, but just to say, hey, you doing okay? Is this coverage amount still good? If you got a promotion at a job, you need more coverage. You bought a new house, do you need less coverage, more coverage? Is the payment still comfortable? So I think that's probably a failure on the life insurance agent. Now, she could have gotten it by herself too. That's also a possibility that maybe she went online 30 years ago, would have been 1996, so that would have been a little early. But it's possible she got it online, she just didn't read the fine print and didn't have anyone to explain it to her. So, But that is what happened with that policy. I'm almost positive. Let me tell you all about a 5,000. Okay, this is another agent talking about stuff. I mean, it doesn't strike home, right? There's tens of thousands of agents telling the same stuff. So people pretty much just tune that out. My 41-year-old client wanted to purchase a $250,000 life insurance policy with $50,000 on each of the 5 grandkids. Okay, well, that's nice. Okay, before I could even complete the application, the underwriters approved her instantly. Okay, well, that's good. $80 a month is a little high, actually a lot high for a $250,000 life insurance policy. $50,000 on each of the grandkids. I'm kind of curious as to what that cost each month, but I am glad they've got coverage, even if it is expensive. Let's see. Life insurance through work is pretty much a scam. Please, for your own family's sake, read the contract and then go get a policy. It's not a scam. It's not. Like through work, like if you have a work policy, you pass away, they're going to pay the money, right? Usually it's handled through one of 5 big companies, like the work policies that you get. I'm not affiliated with them, but usually it's like one of the big 5 companies, like MetLife, New York Life, something like that. If you pass away while you're employed, they will pay your $50,000 or whatever policy amount you have. Sometimes it's like one time your annual salary, so they pay out. The problem is with work policies that you don't want that to be in the control of your employer. You want to have a policy of your own that you maintain. Now, the work policy can definitely be icing on the cake or frosting on top of, or a cherry on top of the frosting on the icing on your cake, but I would definitely not depend on your work policy exclusively. All right, so here's someone from New York Life posting their business card. Good for you. Where do y'all recommend for life insurance aged 40 to 50? Depends on your needs, right? Like if you're looking to cover the costs of a burial or cremation, obviously that's going to be a whole life policy. If you've got a large amount of things you still need to get taken care of in this life, like a mortgage, raising kids, building up your retirement account. If you've got large items that need to be covered, then that's going to be a term policy. If you're between 40 and 50, it's going to be maybe a 20 to 25 year term, and I would recommend going with Banner term. My link is in most of my videos. If you want to be my client, that is available, but it's not required. You can actually go to Banner term. I get no money for that at all, so do not think I am telling you that. Get amount to protect your dependents. The premiums for a 35-year-old male purchasing $500,000 is around $25 to $30 a month. All right, well, let's see here. What are we doing here? What are we doing, Jeff Gregg? 35-year-old, 25 to 30 bucks a month for 500,000. That seems right. That looks like he is probably with one of the top carriers. That price is highly competitive. He's probably either with Banner or Protective or Pacific, but yeah, that does require the person to be in excellent health. You know, the height, the weight's got to be good. No medications or anything. No really bad medical history. So, yeah. Been looking for life insurance for about 4 years. That's too long. Torrance, that's way too long to be looking for life insurance. That's insane. That is insane. I'm so puzzled about which company I should go with. I definitely know that I want a whole life policy. Anyone? Yeah, this sounds like a professional shopper, right? I could be wrong. Maybe he just hasn't come across anyone that was able to help him. But if you've been looking for 4 years, you're not going to get it. It's just not in the cards for you, sir. If you haven't found anything in 4 years, then I'm not sure how much you've been looking. Now, if you are looking, it depends on what you're looking for. I could give you recommendations, but someone who's been looking for that long, it's, I feel bad. Now, it could in fact be the people he talked to. Like, there's a lot of lies online. There's a lot of spam calls if you look for something. So that could be the case with him. But 4 years just seems like an excessively long amount of time to be looking. I would say the longest that if you're actively looking, the longest you should have to look is maybe a month of that. I think maybe what happened was he went online, filled out one of those instant quote things, and got bombarded with phone calls all the time. No one actually explained stuff to him. Because there's not a massive difference between life insurance companies. I mean, there's some of them do have better ratings, and you can do a search online and find the top 10 with the best ratings. The prices do vary a little bit, but not significantly. So yeah, 4 years is, I'm not sure. If you need help, Torrance, I will be happy to help you, whether you get a policy or not. But after 4 years, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. A lady today already spent weeks shopping for life insurance. She checked with State Farm, Colonial Penn. She's checking with the wrong companies, guys. State Farm, I haven't heard anything bad about them. I haven't heard anything good about them. Colonial Penn, unless she's got serious health issues, I wouldn't go with them. What life insurance do y'all have on your kids? Well, the kids, the cool thing, if you've got kids, you've got young kids, the best thing to do, I think, is to have a policy on yourself, right? Like that is you're bringing in the income, right? You're bringing in the income, and then have a child rider added to your term policy. And this child rider, I think it's like $5 per month. You can add, I don't think there's a limit on the number of kids you can have on it. And it provides $10,000 worth of coverage for each child. So my concern would be, what do you have on yourself, right? What happens if you're not there for your kids? That would be my concern. What else do we have? Do any of my friends sell life insurance or have an agent they can suggest for me? I would suggest me. I would use me as a life insurance agent. It's because I don't do the spam calls, the pressure, or and I also don't lie to people, which is a big point for me. Let's see. In search of a local insurance broker for term insurance and some estate planning. These are, I'm not sure if that is actually true. A lot of people online have figured out that life insurance agents will swarm comments or posts, and so they've started to use that as an engagement tactic, right? They started using things like that to get viewership, to get comments. I forget what it's called. Engagement. That's what it is. Engagement. So they use that to get a lot of engagement, and they're not really looking for life insurance. But you get like 50 business cards posted on the comments, then I guess that they monetize your page a little faster. I'm not sure how that works, to be honest with you. All right, well, so I've got 0 views here, and I guess, and that is okay. I did go through the questions, so if anybody wants to watch it later, I'm sorry I was really hard on Torrance, I am. But if you've been looking for life insurance for 4 years, then I mean, my personal opinion is it's not going to happen. I'm not sure what you need to see that's going to be like the magic formula, unless you just had negative experience after negative experience after negative experience, and no one actually explained it to you properly, which could be the case. It could be the case that you just didn't get someone that was going to sit down and explain everything to you properly and give you the education you needed to make that move forward, right? All right, well, it is almost time for me to go ahead and take dog number 2 for a walk. Let me take a look at my channel here. All right, yeah, it does work. The stream does, in fact, work. need to be more exciting, I guess, guys. I'm not sure. I don't know if I need to do a little dance or what. Yeah, the big thing is what I want is for parents to get life insurance. That's the biggest thing. Like people with kids under 18, that's what I think are the people who should have life insurance the absolute most. I don't think, I just don't, any other situation I can forgive or understand. Like if you are married and, there's no mortgage, or you're just married and you depend on each other's income, I think you should get it, but I don't think it's an absolute requirement. Like I don't agree with it, but yeah, okay, that's fine. If you got a mortgage and you don't have life insurance, might disagree with it, but at the end of the day, it's your decision. But if you got kids under 18, and yeah, I think it's an absolute must. Like spend the 25, 50, $75 a month, get coverage. It's fast, it's easy. That would be my recommendation. I don't think there should be any parents out there that having kids that don't have a life insurance policy to protect those kids in case the parents are no longer there. That's just my personal opinion. That's what I'm most passionate about in the insurance space. Also helping out too, because you guys get a lot of spam phone calls, you get a lot of pressure, you get a lot of misleading ads. It can be a nightmare to look for life insurance. So that is why I'm here. Any questions, feel free to contact me. And until next time,